What's up, my friends? Welcome back to a new Dive in Life tutorial. And today we're going to talk about transposing loops. A lot of my beginner students are struggling with how to get something in key. How do you work in a key? What are keys? How many semitones do I need to transpose? All these questions, especially in the beginning, are really hard because also in the beginning you like to use loops because using loops in the beginning is a lot more easy to get stuff going, to have fun at making music. So I encourage my students to use loops in the beginning for sure because it's a fun way to create music, and also you can use loops in the end a lot and you can mold them into something creative. So it's not bad to use loops. Of course, it's not the most original thing, but you can be original with them as well by doing all kinds of stuff. But the most important thing is to get them in key first, right? Otherwise, it doesn't work at all. So how does it work? Because many of my beginners don't know keys, they don't know what keys are and which keys are there. So to learn this and to give you a nice hack for this, I have a technique that I'll be showing you. So for instance, we have this A minor here. It's some sort of A minor chord made by Jeanneret from a sample pack, which is really nice. I recommend you to get it if you look for nice lush pads. These are really nice. And I have this F sharp, and if I play them together, it's not sounding all that great. So what we have to do, we have to transpose this F sharp into this A minor, right? But how do you do this? What's an F sharp and what's an A minor? Well, the hack is create a MIDI channel with a MIDI clip, just to have it there to see the notes. And on the left inside the MIDI clip, you can see C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, and we're back to C. And then this whole thing repeats itself. There's only 12 notes in a octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then it repeats itself. So it's from C to C and everything in between, and then C to C and everything in between is always the same, right? So once we know this, it's nice. We can just use our MIDI clip and go, okay, we have an A minor, so we have to find for an A. This also goes for major chords if you want to transpose two major chords to each other. So we have the A, boom. And then we go, okay, let's find the F sharp. So I go find the F sharp. That's here, right? F, F sharp, boom. So now I see two notes, and the only thing I need to do is see, okay, if I want to make this F sharp, how many steps, semitones, so I need to transpose this? Is 1, 2, 3. So in theory, if I go into this clip and I say the pitch, I transpose it 1, 2, 3. Now, instead of it sounding like this, it should sound way nicer. So this is a really nice hack to find a note. For instance, you have something in A and you have a D minor, or a loop in D. You go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So either you can go up 7, or you can find the A below and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's either 7 up or 5 down. And that works really well. This technique is easy for you to learn. And to use as a little, because you don't know the keys yet. I go, oh, there's D, there's A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know this because I know the notes on the keys. I'm not a music theory specialist, but at least I know how to transpose quickly because I know the names of the notes. You can also put little stickers on the notes for you in the beginning to make it easier. I see a lot of people do this as well. I did it as well in the beginning. So this is a really great way of transposing your loops to make them sound well together. Now, there is a slight disclaimer. This is an easy loop. This is just A, and it's like F sharp. It's very easy. There's no chord changes. But as soon as you got loops with chord changes, it might get a little bit tricky, because even though I have two loops and I transpose them to the same key, maybe at some point one loop is playing a chord within that key, let's say A minor, but the other loop which I transpose, is also playing a chord in A minor at the same time, and those chords don't go well together within the same key. It can still sound dissonant. So it's not like a magic fix for everything, but at least you learn how to transpose, which is super important as well. You get more comfortable with learning all the keys, the names of the keys. So that's, you're only going to win, but you got to be realizing that you still have to use your ears. Obviously, you can do this also by ear. You don't have to look at all the keys. You can just go, because sometimes more of them will work. Sometimes if you go +5, maybe that works as well, because some keys go really well together, like the fifth in a key, like a C minor and a G minor, go pretty well together because they're very much related. You can watch a thing online called the Circle of Fifths, and you'll learn more about this. But for now, the key is to transpose your loops into the same key. So that's the F sharp to A minor. Did it well. +3, we're there. There's a little side note, which might be confusing for you, and I want to tackle this a little bit so you're not going to be like, hey, but this looks different, because this is like a B with a little B and an M, which is like a B flat minor. This one could be an F sharp minor, right? So it's F sharp minor and B flat minor. If the F would be a flat, it would be noted like this. Like B flat minor, and that thing is of F flat minor. So F flat minor, right? And F sharp minor is different, because that, if you go here, it shows a F sharp minor. But if I would change, for instance, the scale from C major to C minor, in that scale, they note, for instance, the B as a B flat instead of an A sharp, right? So they have two names. So all the black keys are noted, linked to the key next to them. Sometimes they call the black one next to the F and F sharp, but sometimes they call it, if you're coming from G, they call it a G flat. And for instance, here you can already see now I changed the scale to C minor. In a C minor scale, they would call this note an A flat instead of a G sharp, because if I go back to major, we go G sharp, right? So they have two names. That might be confusing, but don't let it put you off your game, as they say. Just go, all right, I'm in A minor, and let's play it together with this B flat. If you have like a one semitone difference, it's going to sound pretty rough here. I wouldn't recommend putting that in your song unless you're making some really weird, freaky kind of stuff. Sometimes dissonance can work, and sometimes it's effective in your music, but it depends what comes before it, what comes after it, what's the vibe of the track. Sometimes you want to go super dissonant to really make some sort of vibe, but mostly you like to work in key. So this one is a B flat. So let's go back to our technique. We go, okay, we are in A, and we need to find the B flat. So if this is A, then here is B, then the one in between is either A sharp or B flat, and this is the one we need. So boom, there you see they're one semitone next to each other. And in the film Jaws, that's exactly the dissonance. If they would play those two keys together, it's going to be very, very dissonant. But like this, if I would now say, okay, so the distance is 1, so I have to put the B flat loop down by 1 to make it an A. So let's go here and say pitch, move it down, and now listen to our two loops. Sounds good, right? So before, after. It's a world of difference, and this is the difference between in key and out of key. So when it's out of key, sometimes it works, sometimes it's nice out of key. Depends on how far it's out of key. This is like only one semitone difference. Usually that's really out of key, and it sounds really dense. And if it doesn't suit your track, it's going to sound ugly and inside a track that's fully in key. But sometimes that's also the nice contrast that you want to have. But for beginners, it's really, really nice to know this technique and to go, okay, got something in, let's say, F sharp, right? Then you got to find F sharp, but you're making a song in C minor. So you go, okay, so you transpose this F 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down to C. You can also go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 up or 6 down. F sharp is exactly in the middle of the two C's, right? And another example, if you're in D, but you want to go to A, you can go, okay, I have a loop in D, but my loop is in A. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 up. You go to your loop, you go to the pitch, you put it 7 semitones up. That's how simple it is. You can also, and remember, if you're in D and you want to go to A, you can better than go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it's 5 down or 7 up. It doesn't really matter, but for instance, If you warp at complex, which is the best warping, I think, for transposing musical tones, you can also use tones. But for me, complex always works really well. But then you can go either 7 up or 5 down. You know, I rather go for 5 down because it's closer. The more you transpose something, the sort of like uglier the sound gets. You lose a lot of quality by transposing something. Therefore, also when you record something at 80 beats per minute and you play it 120, the algorithm, even though warping is an amazing feature, it will, you still hear artifacts then, you know. So that's maybe also a nice tip. Warp everything as complex. And if you want a little tip, a good thing, it's called mixing key. I'm not sponsored or anything, I just love to use it. It will give you a great understanding of what you're actually playing. So if we look at this, if I clear it and I play this A minor, you see we got a C, we got a D, we got an E, we got a G, we got an A. Yay! So that's nice. So that's, you can see exactly what notes are in the chord. And if I start to transpose it, let's say I'm going to transpose it 1 up, we get either A sharp or B flat. See, it's B flat. But I can also say that they should show sharps. And it's A sharp. Right? So don't let the flats and the sharps confuse you. I don't know enough about music theory why they did it, but apparently they had a really good reason to call them sharps or flats in some keys. So here there's E flat, but if I go to major, it's D sharp. So it's E flat or D sharp. I don't know. I haven't invented this. It's just like in Spanish, they have L and La, and then, you know, just use L or use La, or Le or La in French. Why not just make everything La? I don't know. Anyway, I hope this video is inspiring. I hope you transpose your keys. Let me know if you found this helpful in the comments. If you have a request for what you think the next video should be about. And otherwise, just enjoy making music with loops.